Welcome back to Film Snob HQ. We are on the road to Avengers Doomsday. There's not many projects left. I think it's about like 14, 15 to go that are actually released. Very soon we'll be up to Spider-Man Brand New Day, which as of right now isn't out. Vision Quest apparently is out later this year, and of course Avengers Doomsday. Next up is an odd one that has received a lot of hate online. It called a lot of fans to kind of boycott the Sony Marvel franchise. But I'm going to give it a little bit of love. It might surprise you. We're talking about, of course, Madam Web. And yes, this is my Blu-ray. I bought it for this experiment, for all these Marvel watchers. Madam Web does a lot of things wrong. But there's also a lot of fun to be had with it as well. The problem is it's definitely a film that was kind of developed by a committee. Dakota Johnson even came out and said that the film she signed up for was very different to the end product. And you can tell, if you hear the stories about it, they were going to make it a prequel to the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man film, and then they realized they set it in 2003, which means he would have been 8. And instead of just changing the year in the film, they stuck with making it its own thing. There are some anachronisms in there. It's set in 2003, but it uses kind of 2000s music that was released after the events of this film, so it doesn't quite match up. Of course, you could always use the multiversal excuse that Britney Spears released Toxic 6 months earlier, I suppose. It's got Ben Parker, played by Adam Scott, who's quite fun in the film. You know, I'm always here for more Adam Scott, and I say, we're overdue for him showing up in one of these movies, but he doesn't have too much to do. Emma Roberts as Mary Parker, so Peter Parker's mum. But the film, of course, centers around Cassandra Webb, played by Dakota Johnson, and these 3 Spider Girls who, I'll be honest, I cannot remember their names. I watched this yesterday, and I cannot remember their names. We've got Sydney Sweeney, we've got Isabel Merced, and I'm so sorry I've forgotten this actress's name, but I've got the Blu-ray in front of me, so let me just pretend that I remembered it was Celeste O'Connor. There we go. Sorry, Celeste. One of the biggest problems with this film is it was marketed as a Spider-Man film, but there is basically no Spider-Man action in it. There are Spider-Man adjacent characters, but there are no spider powers used. Even the villain, Ezekiel Sims, who dresses up kind of like a version of Spider-Man, doesn't have many spider powers. Like, he can crawl on walls, but there's no web slinging. He has a toxic touch, but he has to get close enough to use it. Dakota Johnson's character, Cassandra Webb, can get premonitions and see the future, but that kind of plays into at the beginning of the film. We do see her. It's almost like a kind of a PG-13 take on Final Destination. She's able to dodge kind of tragic events by using these powers, but it's not until the very end that she really starts to use them in a much better way. Carrie Bechet, the wonderful Carrie Bechet from Red State, is in this film. She plays Cassie Webb's mum at the start of the film, and she's quite good in it. The chemistry in this film is good. I like the girls. I think they have a lot of fun together. Dakota Johnson is one of those performers who's very self-aware. You can see it in her press tours, but also in some of her films. And this is an example. You can see there are definitely moments where she's winking at the audience, which makes it a really fun experience as well. So the film follows Cassie Webb. Sorry, I keep getting distracted and not talking about the plot. Whose mum is in the Amazon at the start of the film, and she gets murdered by Ezekiel Sims because they're looking for a spider that has these different powers. The power to heal people, actually, and that's what she's really interested in, because we find out later in the film that the unborn Cassie Webb has an illness that will give her a very short life, so her mother's gone to the Amazon to find the spider to try and give her a normal life. We flash forward to the present day, or present day 2003, and Cassie Webb is an orphan. She's now a paramedic with Ben Parker, who's her best friend, and they're going on ambulance runs trying to, obviously save people and stuff like that. And then an event causes her to start having these premonitions. She's never had them before the events of these films, but now she starts having them. And one of the premonitions she has is this guy, Ezekiel Sims, hunting down and killing these 3 girls. So she takes it upon herself to try and protect them. The trailer did heavily market the film using these 3 girls in their spider suits. We only see the spider suits in flash forwards. So Ezekiel Sims has a dream of his own murder at the hands of these girls. We see them dressed up then. And at the very end of the film, they're all in costume. And the costumes are great. They're really good. They're so comic book accurate. For those who don't like when the studios take kind of creative liberties, like I know there's a lot of kind of hullabaloo around the Superman costume recently, and with some of the Marvel kind of costumes over the last few years, these ones are really good. They're so accurate. They just don't use them. And that's the biggest problem with this film. There's a lot of fun to be had. There's some cheesy dialogue. This would float really well if it was released in 2003, opposite, say, like the 2003 Daredevil movie. It would have played quite well. But we're in a golden age of comic book films. We're on the other side of the golden age, and now we're seeing other studios trying to kind of keep up with the quality that Marvel put out for so many years. And this just isn't on the same level. But it is fun. It is cheesy and silly. In terms of the road to Doomsday, irrelevant. Completely irrelevant. There's no way any of these characters are showing up in Doomsday or Secret Wars. If they do, I will eat this hoodie. And I don't need them to, because there's just not enough development there. Madam Web, for it being her story, doesn't do a whole lot. And these three girls, I have no idea what kind of Spider Women they are, because we never get to see them be Spider Women. So I won't feel their absence if they don't show up. I think everyone in this could be recast in roles in the future, in Marvel if they wanted to. It seems like Isabella Merced is quite happy in the DC universe as Hawkgirl. Sydney Sweeney obviously getting tons of work. There are rumors of her potentially being a Black Cat type character, which kind of makes sense, I suppose. I think there's room for her to do some more work in these comic book universes, but there's no great demand at the moment. So yeah, Madam Web. If you want a cheesy film to have a bit of a laugh at and fun with and not concentrate too hard, totally good for that. In terms of the greater Marvel universe, probably not so important. But there we go. Next up, Deadpool and Wolverine.